Hi guys, and welcome back to Toni's Tarot and Astrology. So today we're going to have a look at the full moon eclipse in Taurus Scorpio. So I just want to apologise for the last video, which the sound quality was terrible. I didn't realise it was as bad as it was until I had uploaded and listened to it on YouTube. But on my speaker it didn't sound as bad as it was. So I apologise about that, and that issue should not be happening again. So let's have a look at this full moon eclipse. So as you may be aware, eclipse is all about bringing in new cycles, and this started 2 weeks ago with the new moon eclipse, which was quite a powerful time. Now, each time we're getting these full moons and sun moon, and new moons, they generally seem to be hitting on quite an important planet. And this has been starting since February, March, when it was hitting with Jupiter. Now what we've got going on is that the sun moon is hitting onto Uranus. So Uranus is really in the mix with this sun moon full eclipse. So with the sun being in Taurus, of course, Taurus relates to our values. It relates to, our not our beliefs, but more so where we, what we feel, where we place our values, what we feel is really important to us. It also relates to our property, our assets, our ownership, if you like, for a better word. So with this, the sun highlighting this Taurus energy, and we've been in very strong Taurus energy with the node there, Mercury's there, Uranus has been there for quite a while, and this has been changing slowly, our values, our understandings, and also, where we, what emphasis, what we're really seeing is truly important. So with this, they're looking at our values, and then the opposing energy of Scorpio, it's bringing in what has been sort of simmering away behind the surface. So Scorpio is where we go to the depths, where we go to a deeper understanding, where we sometimes say we're going in for a look, and don't come out for days. This is where we really put a lot of focus and energy into finding out what's going on for us at a much deeper and inner level, and especially when we have the moon in Scorpio. Because with the moon in Scorpio, sometimes it can be hard to understand emotionally what we are, what we are feeling, because Scorpio is such a hidden sign. But when it's in a full moon combination like this, this is when it's all highlighted. So whatever's been going on under the surface can come up to be reviewed, or can come up to be looked at. And it's also a great time, of course, whenever we have these full moons in the Scorpio-Taurus axis, to be releasing the old, releasing what no longer serves us, as they say, but releasing our beliefs, because we're going back to the Taurus energy, releasing our understandings. It's also going to be a very potent time for new realizations and understandings. So this could be when we're formulating new ideas, new understandings, new values. We could be seeing the world from a higher view, so to speak, or a bigger picture. So yes, with the sun moon, we have Uranus sitting there. So Uranus is here, 4 degrees away from the sun position. So we have effectively a sun Uranus conjunction for this full moon. So the Uranus doesn't actually, it's not exact. It's the conjunction is already happening. We have an orb, meaning a distance of 5 degrees once the combinations are considered an aspect, but it will be exact on the around the 9th of May. So this is building up. So I'd say from from the 5th up to the 9th, around the 9th and 10th, this is going to be a time when sudden realizations or sudden changes of circumstances. We have it also to the moon Uranus, so this is an inner expression as well. So we could be having sudden realizations coming from our inner psychic knowing or inner understanding. It's a very, very psychic combination, Moon Uranus. But with the Sun Uranus, there's a lot about our personal will, our personal desire. There's this desire for freedom. There's this desire to not be restricted. There's this desire to grow in a more uplifting or evolve in a more uplifting way, if you like. So we are, with Uranus, able to see you know, a higher perspective. But also, you know, around that time, you know, Uranus does bring in changes where changes are needed. So, you know, this could be a bit of a restless time or a bit of a unsettling time. There's also a lot about relationships in this full moon eclipse, where you know, where we've been feeling out of alignment with others. You know, this is an opportunity for us to get back into an alignment, and also an opportunity for us to you know, look at the other side. This is the full moon expression, looking at the other side of things, looking at the partner's side of things, and, you know, the opportunity to sort of see it from their point of view or through their eyes. So, you know, this isn't a time of disruption. I mean, yes, we have Uranus, and we could have, you know, like lots of changes for those that are sort of, you know, not consciously connected to their highest good. So sudden changes could come in because some circumstances may need to change. And with Sun Uranus, often it's, you know, living circumstances can change, move of property, change a career, excuse me. But also with Uranus, it can really just be the realization of the changes that you're really wanting to make. And because it is about, you know, feeling, you know, going against any limitations and really, you know, expressing ourselves for freedom and for more personal expression, and anything that is limiting, we could feel like just breaking away from at this time. So, you know, just be aware that, you know, there will be that restless energy of wanting to break away and make changes, and changes could be well overdue, or it may be that you're just needing a bit of a change of environment, and just to spend that time going and you know, working out emotionally what your true needs are. Because every time we get a full moon, we do get an opportunity to really bring out you know, what's really going on for us. And so those that have been holding on to a lot of emotions for the month, often the full moon is when we tend to you know, implode or explode on certain issues. So, you know, with that, we also have a Mercury conjunct node. Now, Mercury is close to the Sun. It's not, you know, it's just over 5 degrees, but it is building up towards the Sun. Sun Mercury is often about, you know, having, you know, strong ideas, strong opinions. It's really good communication skills. Sometimes it's a little bit, again, hard to see other people's points of view. But with Uranus here, it's sort of saying, well, you know, you're going to get to see the balance come in. It's like a shift of balance happening that is going to allow again, some common ground where we can really connect. And there's lots of, you know, really favourable things going on for this, you know, for this time, for connecting up with like-minded people, for working on projects, for coming up with ideas, for anything that is related to, you know, what you have in common with others and where you feel excited. But, you know, with Mercury node, often it's that point where we join up with others for a particular common purpose. Or we could be just discussing certain ideas, but, you know, the ideas aren't just coming from us. They're about how we can work, you know, in good team effort. There is a midpoint, as I've explained before. If you haven't seen my videos before, a midpoint is the exact middle point between 2 points, or planets. And the node is a point. It's not a planet. It's a mathematical point worked out by the Sun and the Moon. And we have the node and the Sun, you know, here and there. Mercury is sitting exactly in the centre of this Sun node, Mercury. Now, Mercury is retrograde still, and so we could still be going back over old ideas, re-looking, you know. Mercury is a re-word, you know, sometimes we have to rewind, reevaluate, you know, re-look at things. And review, you know, a lot of things that have been going on for ourselves. It's the opportunity to really, you know, to be present. To sometimes we feel like we can't move forward, but sometimes we just, you know, are just needing to be in the now and to be focusing on what is working for us today. And sometimes if we find that everything is going against us, being able to accomplish something, which is generally what we experience at the beginning and the end of Mercury retrogrades, you know, it's really just a indication to just be still and just be, because this is a perfect time for us to be reflecting and, you know, looking at what's really important to us, what we would like to be changing. Generally, once the retrograde starts to move forward again, now that happens around the 15th, it's stationary around the 15th of May, it's going to be moving forward around the 18th, 19th, it'll get going again, you know, but around those times, you know, that's when we, you know, really start to move forward again with where we were before the retrograde happened. So anything we think, oh no, this is too hard, or no, I don't think I'll be doing this, we change our plans, again, they are subject to change again around that time. And see, the Sun-Uranus conjunction is also about changes of plans. It's also about, sudden changes coming in, but it's coming in through not through a situation of frustration because things aren't happening, so we've got to come up with a new goal, a new plan. It's more about, something's been sitting there waiting for us, and it's right in front of us, and we're just going to see it really clearly. So we are ready for whatever changes that are coming, and for those that embrace the changes, we are 100% ready. So getting back to this midpoint of Sun node Mercury, again, that's all about interacting with others. It's all about, it's a good sociable time. The Sun node is all about family and it's more about our soul family than our friendships. It's a bit more personal than just our friendships, unless our friendships are considered to be our family or soul family. But what it's saying again is about this like-minded connections, bringing together people for a common purpose. It's a lot about news and information coming out. So you may get some exciting news, you may get some news that could mean some changes for yourself, or you may have to rethink what you're doing. Now, if you're experiencing that, the key seems to be to do with others, how you can accomplish your goals with others, because this isn't about what we're doing on our own. It is about expressing our own personal will at this time and what we do and don't want in our lives. Yes, that's 100%, especially with the moon opposite Uranus as well, because it's a very willful place for this to be, with the sun, moon, Uranus there on all levels. So it is about us truly expressing who we are and what we want and being really strong in that. But at the same time, it is about cooperation and effort and what we can do with others. So it is a really nice full moon chart going on here. And I do love the fact Uranus is involved, because I think, we're sort of ready for change. We are ready for opening up to new possibilities. So the other thing we've got is Venus is sitting in Gemini, and Gemini is esoterically ruled by Venus. So where it's traditionally ruled by Mercury, Gemini, yes, it's about the mind and communication and writing and journalism and all those things, and being a great communicator. But it's also very much about love and connection. It's the twins. It's it's about that shared heart energy. So with Venus as it's sitting in Gemini, I do think it's a really nice time for Venus and for Gemini. It means that we can express our energy of love. It means that we can share in a much easier way. Mars sitting in Cancer is a little bit trickier, because Mars would much prefer to be in Capricorn, the opposite sign. But when Mars is in Cancer, that's in our internal expression. So at some levels it is definitely about going internally, but it means that we can't project our energy outwards. It's more of an internal thing. So it's sort of saying this is the hibernation time. Just get under that rock and keep working hard at what you're building up on, because focus on the home, focus on your own space and your own internal world. As it moves into Leo, you can really stretch out into the external world in a much grander way, if you like, with that Mars energy. So what else have we got going on here? Of course, the moon is, the moons are connected to the node, but, it's quite wide. But the interesting thing is that the next new moon, Mercury, is going to be connecting up to the node again. So we've had Mercury node quite a few times, and so I will be saying the same things again about Mercury node, about communication, about what we can do with others, because we keep getting all this nodal energy. The other exciting thing that we've got going on around May is that we've got the Jupiter node coming closer together. So the moon's node here, this is all about where we're going. It's about what we strive for. When we look at it in our own personal chart, it relates to where we're wanting to go, where we're heading, where we ultimately want to end up. The south node, the opposite point, which looks like this, talks about where we've been. So it talks about our past experiences in this lifetime, but also talks about our past lives, which is why we had to have those experiences in the earlier in our earlier days, to reiterate, to remember who we are. Unfortunately, our memories aren't the best for our past lives, and they certainly could be. Some are lucky enough to be able to have a bit more of a feeling about that. But this will be a time when you may connect with past lives with this moon node, connect with people from the past, or connect with people from past lives, just a sense of knowing. And if you're experiencing, especially with the Sun Uranus, it's quite a psychic energy, a very almost, when I say psychic, it's probably the wrong word. It's that sudden vision. It's almost like it's there in your head. It's the image. It's not just tuning in a sort of subtle way. It's very, very clear with Uranus. But we do have the subtle energies of the trine of Mars and Neptune going on, which is also increasing our psychic energy. So where I'm going with that is like, you may feel, oh, why do I feel a connection to this place? Or why do I feel like I had a lifetime here? That is because you did. You wouldn't think it. We think, oh, it's just our imagination. All our information has to come through the imagination. So if you have this image, of course, that's going to be in your imagination, because that's where it will come through. But if you get these images, I can guarantee that you are absolutely right. Of course, you won't. You may doubt that, but write it down. If you get a sense, if you get a feeling, and you're wanting to know more, just start writing. Just start creating the story, because you will find that the first things that come to mind are the ones that are the most familiar. They are the memories. So, like I said, quite a psychic, deep psychic time. We also have a soft aspect to Neptune, Pluto, another very, very psychic connection. So we are being really encouraged to reach to our higher levels with our higher mind. And one thing I've noticed, and I talked about this in the last video, but I think most of you couldn't even hear me, so I'm sorry again about that. But I talked about this a lot, was really how we are so controlled by our thoughts. And we and I explained in this video how we are like if we think of our head, I call it our radio head, because it is just a big antenna that is picking up on all the stations. It's picking up on not only the radio waves, it's picking up on the psychic waves, it's picking up on the energies, the thoughts of others, the thoughts of those that you connect with, and the thoughts of those of people that you don't even that you're not even thinking about, as well as the thoughts of your neighbours. So how many thoughts during the day are truly ours? Now, I brought this up 2 weeks ago, and I have found over the last 2 weeks here, a lot of people have needed to be reminded that these thoughts that they're having are not theirs. There's been like a lot of energy trying to bring us down, trying to stop the psychic energy that's really increasing from coming through. And when I say there's this energy, we're very limited in this body of what we're actually capable of doing. And, there is an energy that wants to always hold us back, if you like. And we can call it ourselves, because we sometimes, when we're being negative, or when we're thinking about, we're not, we're allowing it in. But then the negative thoughts get worse. That's not us. Okay, we all are trained to be our own self-critics. We sort of, that's something that's just installed in us from a very young age. But if we find that we are criticising, know that we're starting to go down a track that's not actually our understanding. Someone that we don't even have even thought twice about could be having a negative thought about us for a particular reason. That can be picked up if we're hugely tuned in. So it's really good to ask, just to clear your head, just to ask that you only want to receive your own thoughts from your own spirit. And like I said, I like to visualize like my head is this radio, and I just turn the knob. For me, it's a really old retro brown radio, and just change it. It's a bit staticky. I'm just on AM because I don't want to deal with all those other energies. But bring in the thoughts that are inspiring. Our mind is there to create with. Our mind is there to imagine better things for ourselves, so we can start to manifest it. It's not there to, and it's there to receive information, absolutely. But because we've got higher and lower frequencies going on in this plane of existence, we are picking up on all of that. And if we get into a lower vibe, so to speak, we'll pick up on the lower frequencies. So adjust your radio to higher frequencies and ask to only receive the higher frequencies. That is the truth, the highest truth, coming from your spirit. So what else have we got going on here? Oh, so May's, it's a really good month. May is a very productive and creative month. I feel like we, have been sort of in a way waiting for May, June, from the beginning of this year, in the sense of really getting on. But, really we've been building slowly towards certain things that we are going to get really excited about during May and June. So those that are wanting to, get more into, their creative side is in creating, and I'm not talking about art or music or, all those creative things, this is a great time for you guys, especially with all this channeled ability, because art and music, of course, is always coming through a higher channel. Well, not always, but if we're tuned into that, it generally does. But what I'm really excited about is this Mars, Jupiter, Pluto T-square that's happening around the middle of this month. So, my sense is that, yes, we've got sort of this restless energy and things are going to start to move forward actually from this full moon that we have in a couple of days. Then as Mercury still retrograding, nothing's really, when I say things are going to start to move forward, we're going to get sudden understandings of where we want to be, sudden truth, sudden realizations, maybe something hasn't really been working out and you realize what you want to break free from. But this will be all about where we are wanting to break free, and create more freedom, more personal freedom and personal expression for ourselves in a more unique way. So with this Mars Jupiter, I see this as productive energy, as business, but it's also very creative, because we, while we're having these ideas of business, we're creating our future. We are the creation of it. We are the creation of our lives, and we're creating all the time. When we get these combinations going on in Pluto there, Pluto is saying, what is it that we are creating? What direction do we want to go in? Where do we want to place our energy for our for our highest growth, for where we can truly expand, move forward and evolve to where we want to be. So this isn't a month of Saturn, Mars, hindering us, we had that. But this is and we haven't had that for a while. We had a soft aspect to that, and that was actually not too bad, I think it went by a bit unnoticed. But with the Mars square, squares don't go by unnoticed. This is a time of action. This is a time of getting on with things, time of creating your businesses, focusing on how you can, thinking big, actually, with that Pluto there, great expansion and growth. So Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, T-square combinations, Jupiter, Pluto relates to, can relate to our political arena, it can relate to authorities as well. So, Jupiter's sort of saying, no, we're not going to be limited or restricted in our circumstances. Again, it's pushing and striving for personal freedom. So with the Mars is, it starts off the square, because this Jupiter square, it's exact on, the 22nd, and it carries on until about the 10th of June. Actually, don't quote me when it's exact. I've just written down when it's sort of, how long it's hanging around for, but I think it's around, around the 20th is when the Mars Jupiter, is quite tight. Now it starts in the cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer. And as you can see, it's a wide one now. It's sort of starting now. So we firstly get it in the initiation signs, Aries, Cancer. They go, okay, here's an idea. And then the fixed signs like Taurus, or Leo, they go, great, give it to me and I'll make it something fantastic. Allow me to utilize my creative energy to make it something bigger, and I'll do all the hard work. So that's what the fixed job is. So firstly, it's coming into the initiation point, and that's when the ideas come. That's when the understanding comes. So this is a great time for the initiation of ideas, especially once we get to around about the 20th to the 22nd. We're out of the retrograde, as far as we're still in the shadow period, sure, but Mercury's moving forward. It might be going back over some stuff that we're still needing to look at, as far as, okay, well, we've got to now readjust to these new situations. But so we're still looking at that, but it is definitely forward moving. So then the Mars Jupiter continues on into the fixed signs, and as you can see, Pluto's sitting here right on the cusp of the cardinal fixed of Capricorn, Aquarius. So Jupiter's sitting in there involved in all that, and Pluto's sitting did I say Jupiter before? I mean Pluto. Pluto sitting, you know, in that placement of, you know, sort of the judge, sort of sitting at the top of the T-square, you know, as the whole judgment thing of this, you know, where is this going? Because, sorry, the other T-square is actually involved with the nodes as well. So, you know, what we have in all these fixed signs and then moving into, it's gone from cardinal to fixed. So what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, from the 15th to the 20th, it's sort of like all the ideas and all the initiation time, and then the doing starts as it moves into Taurus and Leo, and then all the creativity flow, you know, will just flow with that. So, like I said, it's a really productive combination. It means that we are in you know, a great time to be establishing new situations for ourselves, you know, setting in stone new opportunities, new growth. It could be relative to promotion, it could be relative to new business. But I do feel there's going to be a lot of new things and new creative ideas coming through around this time. Also, is you know, relates to, because it's a creative force, it's also the procreative force. Anyone wanting to you know, fall pregnant, you know, definitely that's, you know, around that middle of May, anytime, you know, from the 15th to the 25th, you know, this is a really, really potent time. Of course, your own cycle will fit into that. And also could be a birthing access too. You know, but it relates to the creation of something new. It's like the Ace of Cups card. You know, with Pluto there, it's sort of got a bit of a harder energy because it's sort of saying these decisions, and, you know, this is also about decisions. Venus and Gemini is also about decisions. You know, these decisions that we're making with others are, you know, going to be extremely creative and proactive around this time. So, you know, we are looking at making the right decisions around this time. Anyone going to a new relationship at this time is going to have some really beautiful and productive combinations, or it may be something you've been wanting to get on with. Like I said, you know, it means that this is a time where you can get on with it. So I do like the month of May, you know, astrologically. At the end, we have Jupiter conjuncts the node. So I think I was going there with that when I started talking about the node. I do jump around, so Jupiter and Gemini. So the node is a mathematical point. It moves backwards, and of course Jupiter's moving forward, so they're going to meet up. And Jupiter, the node, is like the good fortune to have the right connections. And in other words, there's always that person there that just you know, opens a door for you that you just probably couldn't have opened yourself. And, you know, this is going to be really, really evident. It's been already going on. It's coming back to connect up. Sorry, when it was going on before, it was when we were looking at the Sun, Jupiter, and then there was all these nodal combinations going on to that in Aries. And now we're moving into the Taurus energy. Sorry, we're halfway through the Taurus energy. You know, but now through the Taurus energy, we're going to start to see and get the manifestation of these good connections, and especially when this conjunction happens at the end of this month. So anyone sort of waiting on news from others, you know, the end of this month, it looks really conducive to that, but any time from, say, the 15th to the 18th. So, ooh, I think I'll do a spread now. I think I've covered everything. Nothing else I can say. I'm sure there's something I'm probably missing, but because I just do it by visually and I don't look at the combinations, I use the combinations that jump out. They're just, you know, I can clearly see there's no hard aspects here to Saturn, and there's no soft aspects going on to Saturn, you know, so, oh, no, there's not, no. Oh, it's Neptune, Venus, that's the thing I didn't mention. We do have a square. Squares are important to Neptune and Venus. And, you know, so there may come up in the cards, actually, you know, relative to relationships. Because I did feel like with this, we are, you know, if we're going to have any, if we're feeling like we're limited in our relationships, we're either going to get to sort this out, you know, or we may get to just dissolve any old emotions or old feelings of disappointment or disillusionment. It may come up for us to be addressed as in, is this really where I want to be? Is this real? You know, people want transparency at this point. They want honesty. You know, Venus, Neptune, if it's not representing that higher quality of Neptune, because it can be unconditional love, and Venus is, you know, is love, and, you know, Neptune is his highest, I see the highest, higher octave of Venus as being the unconditional love, the universal love, if you like, the prime creative source love. You know, it's that love that you're just going to feel so much joy from. So in other words, you know, yes, our partners, our situations with relationships could be difficult, but you know, it's about, are we loving unconditionally? So are we expecting more than is possible from these people? I am sorry, I'm going to have to check my charger 1 second. I'm very sorry, I can't stop this video, and I'm not starting it again, but it's going to die my computer. Right, I'm back. There you go. You got to see my funny pants. So now I've lost my train of thought. Venus, Neptune, you know, sometimes we are expecting more than is possible of others. Are our expectations too high, unrealistic, or am I, you know, generally not getting the truth here, or, you know, so if there's an element of lies or deceit there, yes, you know, this is going to come up, I think, to be addressed. The same with the Moon in Scorpio. Anything that's been hidden from you, you know, it could come up to the light at this time. You know, but it may just be that you weren't understanding things, and that what was hidden from you was really the truth, which is that, you know, a lot of this was your own insecurities or your own issues. So let's just have a look at what everyone watching here today, or any day when you're watching over the next week, you know, what they can expect for the month of May, and, you know, moving into beginning of June. You know, so I'll just say for the next 4 weeks, you know, what they can expect from this full moon eclipse, what the universe wants you to know about, what information could be helpful for you guys. So let's see, what cards want to talk about. Okay, wow. Okay, so for you tarot readers out there, the first card up's the Tower, and the second card here is, you know, is this one here, the Two of Swords, which, you know, my pack is, I actually quite like this card. You know, she is very, you know, yes, she can't see what's coming, but she is very, very protected, and I certainly wouldn't want to get in her way. Her senses are highly tuned. So what I get from that is something's coming, something big's coming, and you can feel it, okay? You can sense it. Some people may be feeling a little bit anxious because it could be an energy that's out there, and it's like, can feel something in the air, so to speak. And, you know, magnesium is really good for any anxiety. Rescue Remedy is also, you know, quite effective for those that get sort of low-grade anxiety. You know, flower essences, actually, I found have been very, very beneficial when we're emotionally distressed or, you know, or anxious. You know, it also helps to calm the mind. Okay, so we are in for some big changes for the next 4 weeks. Well, look at this wonderful outcome. So this is a world card. This is a Morgan Greer pack, if you're not familiar with it. I'm just trying to get it in a place where the light's not on it. Now, to me, this is the new age, this card. It relates to a lot of things. It relates to, you know, the end of a cycle. It relates to when we bring in all our skills together, when we get to reap the rewards and enjoy our life. But, you know, to me, this is the age that we're coming into. Because when we had the Grand Cross in 1999, you know, it was all connected to these 4 fixed signs, and this is what we're dealing with the eclipse. We're back into the fixed signs again. So here we have the bull, the eagle up the top there is representing Scorpio, the higher quality of Scorpio. And then we've got the lion, and we've got the man up there representing Aquarius. So we've got the 4 fixed signs. And so what, tarot, the major kind of tarot cards, I believe, I worked this out, well, I came to this understanding myself. So I believe that, and hopefully one day I'll get to read it, because that's often what happens, but that, these 22 major kind of cards all represent a certain age that we've been through. And the Judgment card, which is number 20, this is number 21, the Judgment card is the age Pisces, and this is the next age that we're coming into, the age of the world, where the world gets smaller in the sense that we can, travel's getting faster, our connections to others getting faster, and that's where they say the world's getting smaller, because we can all connect from any part of the world now. It's also about, everything sort of being at our fingertips, and it's sort of saying the last 22, I guess, 1,000 years, we've come to this is the last 2,000 years of the end of a cycle before we come into the full stage. Again, the full being the first tarot card. So I just thought, I just think that, yes, this world card is saying here, for everyone on an individual level, that yes, there's been stress and there's been situations and you felt that you haven't had the control. Spirit's been, had the reins, so to speak, of the controlling seat, steering your life, and you just want the controlling seat back, but at the same time, you've actually avoided a lot of stress, and you've also avoided a lot of difficulty through, through the things that you probably, through the choices that you could or couldn't make, because Spirit sort of had that control. Now things are coming back to us. There is going to be, we've got the Death card here, so there is going to be some information coming out about some changes coming up here for the people. Now that feels very general. It doesn't feel like I'm talking it it feels very general in the sense of to do with the public. Okay, so some big change. It's not telling me what, but it sort of means that, okay, I'm getting it now. So collectively, we're going through a change where we are not going to be hindered or held back or controlled. This is what Sun Uranus is about, saying where are we limited with our freedom. So if you're feeling controlled in your work circumstances, if you're feeling, you've got a lot of, ability and energy that you put into what you do, and if it's not really being valued, you really don't want to be there anymore. So those that are really not able to, that don't feel they have control in their life, or they feel that, things are too like over your shoulder sort of control. So I'm sort of getting like that boss at work that doesn't leave you alone sort of feeling. It's just like, no, I'm not having that. Or say a relationship where you're feeling like, no, this is just too controlling. Again, it's like we're leaving circumstances that haven't been for our highest good because we've felt we've had to be there because of the mind. But again, it's like people are going to be seeing that they're free and they can leave their circumstances. If their circumstances are stressful, they can make the changes they need to make. So in other words, we've got this change, and these things that are coming in are like way more liberating for our future. There's a lot of forward movement here, moving into, again, our own personal power, and more into, for those that feel like they're natural leaders and they're in a position where they're being, again, someone who are feeling like there's someone over their shoulder, they're not going to put up with that. They're going to walk out. They're going to step into their own true power. And this is what this is talking about. It's about people stepping into their true power. Now, definitely a raising of the heart energy here around groups, around connections, celebration around, with people that you're wanting to share with. So this is a time to share with like-minded people that, you've got exciting new creative inspiration and creative new ideas. It's a great time for teams, but again, this is about where we're in alignment. And it's like for those that are, taking the opportunity and making the changes with the dramas that are playing out in their own lives, they're going to instantly, it's like they instantly know what they're going to. They're going to instantly receive the rewards, because, this is always a process when we decide we're going to improve things. We want improvements in our life, which is, again, Sun Uranus. But it's like, you've been working towards this for so long now that things are going to happen quite instantly. So this is a perfect time to be, again, sharing with those that you resonate with. Soul family, family connection. Again, it's reiterating the astrology, the Sun, Mercury node stuff. Sudden work changes could come up for some, where you sort of, because that's what I was sort of saying about people are going to, when I'm saying people are going to have these realizations, the realization is going to be, oh my God, I've been putting so much energy into that it's actually been wasting my energy, and now I know exactly where I want to put my energy. So that's where we're going to get to have a really good hard look. Where have we been putting our energy? And that's a good thing about Mars being Cancer at this point, and continuing on until for the next week or so, until it moves into Leo, is it's given us that time to internalize, to really look at where we have been putting our energy, because it probably hasn't been too obvious with it being in Cancer, but it is going to be so much clearer when it moves into Leo. So for those of you that are wanting change, that have been sitting back waiting for change, that feel like you haven't had the, whether you're waiting for an opportunity or whether you're just waiting for, feeling like when you're in a place when you feel like you have more control, whether that's financial, whether that's emotional, mental, we are getting the opportunity here to really be quite clear about where our hindrances lie and where our productive growth is sitting. And with that, we seem to be joining and connecting with others and moving forward in a really fast way. So, I'll show you the outcome cards here. We've got the World, we've got the Sun card, and we've got future projection. So this is about future planning with soul family. Now, again, there's such a beautiful family card, the Sun card. It's also about feeling uplifted, But in my pack here, I do see it as this beautiful union of love and connection. It's almost like these two are telepathically reading each other's mind, knowing each other's thoughts. Not every single intimate word of thought, but sensing how they are feeling, sensing who they are as well at a deep level. So it's a real deep soul thing. And then with the World card here, it's sort of saying, there are so many people here for you to connect to and move forward with into new projects and goals. So this isn't a time of isolation and being on your own. It's a time of stepping out of that. That's what's sort of changing, is that we've all been, the cards are saying that we've all been putting a lot of energy into things. Where exactly has that energy been going? Has it been going into the wrong situations, the wrong work, where you're not getting the rewards, or the wrong relationship, where you're feeling undermined or limited? This is all about how we can personally express our truth and our desires. And it's like anything or anybody that's wanting to hold us back or restrict that is not our true soul connection. At the same time, it could be a soul connection. There could be some karma there that you're going through, and it could just be that you just got to put your foot down and go, no, this is it. I need my own independence. I need my own space. I need to be creating. I need someone to be on board with me. So we've got all this opportunity to resolve stuff as well through the right communication and through just opening up the heart center and just being able to communicate clearly. It does look like we've got through the hardest part of the that overactive mental energy. I think we've learned a little bit more about stilling the mind. Now it's time to receive the messages on how we're moving forward. And like I said, they're all coming from you, from your own inner being, your own spirit. But the help, the leg up, the ability to get there is going to be coming through others. So, it's a great time to be connecting with others, especially those that are traveling, with the World card and the Sun. It's like if you've got family overseas, or got strong connections, or even creating bonds to do with people in different places. So again, there's something in the air there. Jupiter, Mars seems to relate to that. Anything with Jupiter, because it's ruled by Sagittarius, sort of, it can always be bringing in overseas energy. It's like, yes, the perfect person for me is out there, but they're over here, or this great business partner, or this person that can help the business grow, but they're over here and you're here. Now the interaction, the connections are going to start to really come forward for June, especially. So it looks really good, and I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time for the new moon in Gemini. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.